How are you doing today?
All right, all right. You know, ups and downs, depending on the environment, depending on the world, on my own state, on many things. You know how it goes. But it's all human. It's all good.
Right, right. Um, so look, uh, I just, with these type of chats, they're informal, they're inspired through the now, but there tends to be a general structure to them I found, which is I like to start um, with your story and giving you the floor to be able to share about who you are, um, what you do, how you got there, and why you do it. So anything that you feel is relevant to share with the community about your narrative of your path and awakening journey that's led you to the now, where we are in this moment. I want to give you that opportunity to speak your heart. And at some point in there too, I would love for you to share how you came about your name, because I've had a few people ask me like, wait, what's his name? And so how you went from, Dennis as your parent given name to I Create Lines is, the name that you feel resonates most with you. So anyway, with all that said, passing it to you, let's hear your story.
Mm. Let's start right off the bat with the I Create Lines because I got the notebook right here.
Mm.
So before we get into any of the teaching stuff, spiritual stuff, everything else, I used to draw since I was like 10 years old. My dad is very talented at that. And I started with graffiti letters. I started with copying like Digimon and Pokemon when I was 10. And basically, I was doing graffiti for, it's going to be 20 years now. And then slowly from graffiti, from the lettering, I went into like really detailed line work, tattoos, mandalas, and basically stuff like, let's say stuff like this. So, bam. So it's abstract line work. So it's mostly black lines, characters like this. So then when I was like, okay, I want some artist name. This was a few years ago. I was thinking like I create. I was always drawn to the image of the eye. I don't know why. And then I was like, okay, I create, I create. But then I noticed that PlayStation, I believe, had a platform, I Create, which was like a camera that you hook up to your PlayStation and it records you in real time as you smack the tennis racket around and stuff like that. And then it was like the beginnings of VR, kinetic sports type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I don't want to risk it. I don't want to call myself I Create Lines. Maybe one day I'm going to be famous and then PlayStation's going to want to take my money. And I was like, you can't risk that. I'm going to be so globally famous. I'm going to, PlayStation is going to take my money and my copyright. So I added the lines because I was like line work. And so it stayed. I Create Lines, I Create Lines. And then it was something that came afterwards, which is just my thinking, my connection, which is basically, I think of myself as, okay, we can go into the spiritual stuff now. We can go into the teachings and the things that I do with people one-on-one. And that's basically removing the shadow frequency, what is called in human design. It is the energy that is being expressed in an unhealthy way, either repressive or aggressive. It is conditioning from parents, conditioning from culture, from society, from education, from programming, from TV, from stuff you've read, from generational trauma, from past lives, whatever you want, however you want to see it, that's on you, that's restricting you. and keeping you, let's say, in a timeline. And then I was like, wow, I create lines.
Mhm.
So right now I like to think of it like I create alternative timelines for people. I remove, okay, this was your path before we met, and then we're just going to pluck a little bit of these genes. We're going to press here. We're going to show this here. And then you unlock it, and then you kind of unlock the new timeline.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
I,
It's nothing. It's nothing.
I like that.
It's nothing spectacular in the sense of like this is a profession that people do, like timeline break or nothing. It's just like something I like to think about to make my life more interesting, to make things that I do kind of more epic, mysterious for my own sake, to make it like, okay, I'm living like a Lord of the Rings type thing. I'm this, this person people come to, and then I read from a book, and then I'm like, oh, here's a spell you can try, and then they try the spell and it works, and it's
Yeah.
so yeah.
But intuitively, I find that to be so interesting because, of course, right, the universe is working in a non-linear timeline itself, meaning that what you aren't yet aware of that's happening to you, that you chose this name, I Create Lines, years ago, that you now have come into awareness of why, and connecting those dots retroactively is a really beautiful thing to recognize. And when you can put that intuition together, it's like, okay, I see how my own evolution of my journey is happening before me. It's just an awe-inspiring experience. And I've had a similar thing too with myself. I got a tattoo of a triangle on my forearm, equilateral, and I didn't know why, but I got it like 10 years ago. And today it's become the basis of the logo for Awakenpedia, and carries so much meaning when it comes with mind, body, soul alignment, with habit formation and reconstruction. My addiction was my path to awakening. So like there's just a lot of serendipity there that reaffirms the uh, divine intervention, that's at play here, and the universe that's unfolding. But anyway, back to you. I just wanted to make a side comment there that I appreciate your your intuitive resonance with your name.
It's like you're watching an anime that has like 500 episodes, and a thing that happened in episode 10 or 15, and some character appears, and he does something, and then he disappears, and then after 500 episodes, he appears again, and then it's kind of like, oh, that's why he did the thing back then that he did. But it took 500 episodes of, same intros going over and over again, and you even forgot what happened. You even forgot that guy was there in the background, background furniture people,
Right.
And then they become heroes.
Right. Except for us, it's 500 lifetimes, not 500 episodes, right?
Yeah, it can seem like that.
Who knows? But okay, so maybe it's a good just segue into just focusing on your story a bit more. I'd love to, because I read your profile, right? I know more than the community here about your personal journey, but I know that you're a self-described, former hedonist, let's call it that, someone who consumed, right, a lot of pleasure, substance, activities, this, that. Can you talk about how, you personally liberated yourself from that lower vibrating state of consciousness?
Wow. Okay. So yeah, hedonist is an understatement. I basically believe that I was indestructible. I believe that the energy that you have in your 20s, the fire, like you're 15, you're going to high school, your kundalini, let's say, has just come online slowly, and you're just going around. I got into rap music, and that's heavy on the root chakra, on the drums, on the pulsing and everything. I got into into alcohol, I got into cigarettes, I got into weed, I got into promiscuous behavior, I got into like, and it was very self-destructive because the whole rap music is like that, the gangster rap music at least. And it was also from my parents who are like drinking every day, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes every day, eating very heavy foods, you know, just yeah, just the whole works, the whole works. And yeah, I was basically, I believe that, you know, as you're young, you can digest anything, you can recover from hangovers tomorrow night to like on Sunday night, you're already kind of good to go again. And it was to a point of getting drunk, being asleep in the alley, waking up, throwing up, and then going to drink again. And looking back at it now, it was an escape. I believe that was somehow powerful doing these things. I believe that was somehow I have this momentum, I have this character, I have this identity because it was so connected to music, it was connected to other people, it was connected to crews and gangs and rituals, you know, who can drink more, like people who can put away 2 bottles, they're the shit. I don't know if I can swear, but you can.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, okay. Um, and then slowly, okay, I finished college, and then things started to creep in, you know, the body started to go into like, what's the word? Like wet noodle mode, where I used to play video games for hours. My neck started to go like this. My arms went inside. I probably can have my own, I don't know how many acres land if I can just sum up all the weed I've smoked in my life. And it's like, in the beginning, it was nice. In the beginning, it was like you smoke it and then you laugh, and then it opens you up with your partner. You feel touch more intensely. You feel the music better. The video games, the anime is more alive. But then, without it, everything seems bland. It's like you are eating very processed foods that has, you know, you eat something packaged that has both sugar, salt, E2575, natural flavorings, vanilla something, extract of whatever, soy whatever. So it's like 700 tastes that are non-natural. And after that, you want to try eating a regular tomato, it's going to be like eating cardboard. So the same thing is when you do stuff on weed, when you do stuff on alcohol, when you do stuff on any stimulant, and then you want to try and do a natural thing, it's going to feel like what am I doing? Well, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And it became too much. I came to a point where I used to, let's say I finished my job, my 9 to 5 at a time. I want to sit down after my job, I want to smoke a joint, and I want to play some video games, or I want to watch an anime, or whatever it is. And I smoke that joint, and I start shaking. Like my whole body starts being like this. I'm not relaxed, I'm worse than I was. I can't focus, I can't breathe, but you know what held me through it? I would open up a video of Snoop Dogg smoking his 7th joint in a day and being okay with it. And I was like, you can do it. If Snoop can smoke 7 joints and enjoy it, you can do it as well. Can you imagine, you know, like what the hell? Like I was convincing myself that I am doing something wrong because I couldn't believe that I can't enjoy it anymore, that the time has passed, that my body has learned all the lessons, that the spirit of weed, and each herb has a spirit, because, you know, I love herbalism, I'm into herbalism. Each plant, you want to take entheogens, you want to take weed, you want to take a regular mint, regular St. John's wort, anything, a tree, everything has a spirit, and it moves your energy in a certain way. And if you abuse it, it becomes, you know, becomes this jealous, or it kind of, everything that's a medicine, once you get to a certain dosage, it becomes a poison. It just becomes too much. And then I was like, the final boss, the final element of quitting all these things was accepting that once you quit, let's say once you quit weed, there's going to be a period of time where everything is going to seem uninteresting. Your dopamine is not going to fire, your serotonin is not going to fire, your oxytocin, all the hormones that you were used to having a substance activate. Now you don't have the substance anymore, and you feel like nothing is going to give you joy in life anymore. What is going to give me that? And you have to take that little death where you're just sitting there like, you know, the alchemist staring down the desert, being like nothing, like tumbleweed and crickets in the background, and your whole body is in pain, because that's what happens on dopamine. You have a dopamine spike. Every time you spike, you're going to have a dip. Every time you eat sweets, you're going to dip. Every time you smoke, you're going to dip. So guys, every single thing that you put inside your body, whether it's food, whether it's weed, whether it's, you go to a concert and it's, oh my God, this is amazing. It is. But just be prepared. Once it's done, it's going to hurt a little bit. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. You're just going to have to endure the dip. And that dip is who you truly actually are, right? That dip is your 0 point, but we're afraid of our 0 point. We maybe never had it. If you were born and your mom was on stimulants, and you were born and immediately you were given sugar when you were 5, and after that something else, and now kids get energy drinks, and now you get a tablet in your arm when you're 5 to calm the baby down. That's like, you just, like, your child is upset and you calm him down with energy drinks and a screen. You basically ruined you ruined your child at 5. I mean, yeah. I don't want to become too much of a critic straight off the bat. I don't want to shit on society. Like, hello, nothing's going right. So let's keep it on a positive side.
I understand what you're saying, though, and this is, I share your, want to be mindful of the words I use too, but, let's just call it like you can call it dissatisfaction or frustration with the system that we've been told is promised to provide fulfillment, happiness, salvation even. And of course, it's doing it the exact opposite. It's just imposing, endless amounts of conditionings on us that further baggage us to the point where we are lost in the lostness, so that we don't know who we are, and all we know is who we're not. And so, of course, it's confusing, and of course that leads to addiction and abuse of substances and various things, because we're disconnected. And to be disconnected is a scary place. It's full of fear. And that's what society and corporations and governments want, because with fear, in a fearful state, we can be controlled. But when we're in a loving state, we're beyond control. So that's where what we're doing here, the work you're doing and what I'm doing in AWAKENPEDIA, in its essence, serves to uncondition that which has been conditioned, so we can reside in our most natural essential selves, which is, of course, oneness. And it's a self we all share. It's the nameless name. But anyway, back to you. So I appreciate you sharing all of that. Really, no, and I wanted to just let you go with that, because it was entertaining for me to listen to, but also you bring a lot of really deep truth and wisdom to this shedding process, this purification process of going through, those growing pains to learn about, those things that promise to serve you but don't. And, these addictions are very prominent. That's why I know addiction recovery is a specialty area of yours, having gone through this, but I know that your primary focus is on what we call human design, right?
Mhm.
So can you speak a bit to how your journey has evolved on your end that, led you into these different modalities that you mentioned, from herbalism, elemental theory, whatever else you kind of participated in that led you ultimately to human design?
So to connect with the part that I started when I said that I felt my body deteriorate, I felt the consequence of poor diet, no exercise, no spiritual connection, just video games and weed, and no direction in life. First thing was qigong and yoga to correct my body. After that, from there, I went into herbalism, and I read Evolutionary Herbalism by Sage Popham, and that's a fascinating book where he connects like the energetics of plants, connecting to the elements, and how every plant has earth, water, fire, air, ether parts, and humans have earth, water, air, fire, ether parts. So that was kind of the introduction into herbalism. Then I went into psilocybin mushrooms. I had a few encounters with the psilocybin mushrooms, and that could be like a whole video in itself, where I just felt the separation between the mountain and the wanderer going around the mountain. So I realized that my whole life I thought I was this little wanderer anxiously going around from one, like a pinball machine, what is this, what is this, what is this, and then after the mushrooms you realize you're not only this little guy, which happens then to be the mind, but you are this mountain that the little guy is running around, and that is the earth. That is your primal, ancient, rooted wisdom source energy that is supporting you, that is holding you, that is pushing you. If you are going to do its bidding, if you're going to be the ambassador, if you're going to be the translator for this energy, it's going to push you forward. And I felt that, and I felt the call, and I was like, okay. After all that, just about as I was done reading all of this, all of the elemental stuff and herbal stuff, I ran into human design. So I was very much into, but I believe people are familiar with, I don't know if it's Carl Jung or, the INFJ, INFP, ENFP type.
The Myers-Briggs assessment.
Exactly. So I was very much always into the typology systems, into archetypes, into anime characters, into superheroes that have different types of superpowers. This guy is more grounded, he's a brawler. This guy is the seer. This guy is more wind type, he's fast. This guy is fire, that guy is a waterbender, airbender, these types of things. And I was always into typologies. I was heavy into archetypes. I realized that's also like part of the shamanic journey, that if you feel into this, you are here to unlock people's archetypes, to show them better and healthier ways to use their own archetype. And you can see that through astrology. You can see that through the elements. You can see that, I don't know, Mars is fire, but it's juvenile fire. The sun is fire, but it's like a kingly, like a father figure fire. So these little nuances. So I went into human design right after. I ran into it on Instagram, somebody followed me and I saw their chart, and then I was like, oh, I want to see my chart. I went into it, I found out I was a projector, and then I was like, okay, what does this mean? Splenic projector. What does it mean to be a splenic projector? And then I first realized, okay, what is a projector? It's one of the four types. There is projectors, generators, manifestors, reflectors. Each one is different. Let me look up what does it mean to be a projector. I found out that projectors are 20% of the population, that they are different than the 70% of generators. Generators have an auric field or an energy field which is like a fireplace. It emanates in all directions. So let's say this is a generator. The energy field is going to be like this. It's going to be like woof, woof, woof,
Right.
in all directions, you know, like a sphere. It's going to hug every single person that comes into contact. It's not discriminatory. There's nothing personal. You just come next to a generator, it hugs you with its energy. A projector is like this. A projector is like a laser beam.
Yeah.
And this laser beam goes like this. And if you're in front of me, you're going to feel like I'm there.
Yeah.
And that could be a double-edged sword. For people who want my guidance, it's like being seen by this presence you've never felt before. But if I'm not invited, it feels like you're being penetrated by something too big for yourself. It's not like it's here to know the other person. That's why projectors are great therapists, because in certain other modalities, it could be like a seer, a guide, you know, a person that holds, you know, a person at the end game, that when you're at the before the final boss, you go to a projector to give you the last upgrade, the last key, the last skill you need to defeat the boss. And then you have reflectors. Reflectors have an aura which is like a mirror. So everywhere a reflector goes, they become their environment. They're like a thermometer in the room. They are very much reflective of their environment. And finally, we have the manifestors. And the manifestors are the people whose aura pushes things away. They're the movers, the shakers, the ones that say something and they drop the mic and everyone goes, oh, that's, you know, that's, oh my God. So for example, if you know Jordan Peterson, he's a manifester. If you know Putin, of course you know Putin, he's a manifester. So these are going to be the people, and I know some of you are going to immediately resonate, that you know that, like, you're in a group of people. You know that there are people that when they start talking, they just talk over anyone else, and you can't help it. Those are the manifestors. Those are the manifesting generators. And then you have people who try to speak and cannot get airtime. Those are the projectors. Why? Because we need to be invited. We need to be, we need recognition. Because, you know, it's like, yeah. So here we're getting into nuances. So let's say generators are generating energy. They are the 70% of population on Earth. They are the builders, the creators, the movers, the 70% of population here to do stuff. Projectors, we are the HR. We are the ones that write the projects. We are the ones that see all the stuff that can be improved. But we're not here to do much. It's not about being lazy or not lazy. It's about, do I have the energy innate within me or not to do extended periods of time or not? So, let's say a generator wakes up in the morning, their sacral energy, their sexual energy, creative energy is at 100. It's capped. It's like, I gotta use this. Where is this going today? Come on, give me something, give me something. And they need to use everything. They need to use everything and then go to sleep. And then they are satisfied. Then they are healthy. They need to use this energy. If they are using this energy in a place that is not giving them satisfaction, then it's frustration. Then it's like revving your engine and standing on the brakes at the same time. And this is the state of humanity. 70% of generators doing jobs they hate. You can feel it every single day. You can feel the friction in society of all the generators braking an engine at the same time, going like this. Then the projectors are raised to be generators. We are raised to try and do this, do anything 9 to 5, and we get exhausted, we get burned out, we try to speak, we try to do things, it doesn't work. We need to sit back, observe things, and become the therapists, the HR people, the project people, the managers, not because we are like worth more than a generator. It's not like a projector that we are privileged, that we don't have to shovel coal or build stuff. It's just that it's in our genetic makeup that 20% of population has more of the superpower, the archetype to see things, and then the 70% of population just has the kinetic, the electromagnetic momentum to do things. And if we just work together, it's beautiful. The manifestors are here, are like the sparks. They are the sparks. They are here to come. It's like the Malcolm X. It's like the people that are on the stage and they just say a few things and the crowd goes wild. They are the sparks. They are the initiators of things. And then you got reflectors, and the most famous reflector I know is Teal Swan, and she's a perfect example of a really embodied reflector that is in her purpose basically her entire life. Reflectors are the same as projectors, just on a collective scale. Projectors are one-on-one guides that see individuals' whole blueprint, archetype, everything, and let's say I'm a projector, and I'm here to be a one-on-one guide for people. Reflector is here to sample the entire collective, the entire society, and then to say what needs to be changed. So human design gives you a chart, it gives you your type, and it gives you your 9 centers. And the 9 centers stem from the 7 chakras. You have the root, the sacral, the spleen, the G center, which is like your environment compass, the heart center, which is willpower, the throat, which is manifestation center, third eye or ajna, and you have the head center. And each of these centers can either be a receiver in your chart or a transmitter. So you can have a configuration, let's say 7 transmitters and 2 receivers, or 5 transmitters, 4 receivers. And then let's say you have 5 transmitters and 4 receivers, and your partner has the place where you have a transmitter, that person, the other person has a receiver. Let's say your head is a transmitter, their head is a receiver. When you guys are together, all of your mental electromagnetic energy, all of your doubts and stuff, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel like immediately they're doubting more than they are used to. You can feel that with the sacral energy. For example, I'm a projector. If a generator comes in the vicinity of my electromagnetic field, I immediately feel I have more energy to do stuff. But then I got to be careful. Like if I'm next to a generator, we're doing stuff, we're creating, we're shoveling coal, and then he goes away. And then I'm like, oh, but this seems kind of hard now. Like this shovel, it doesn't have the same appeal anymore. Like the hell with this. So in this way, we can understand how each person we are next to is conditioning us. Where, in what part of the body? Are they conditioning us through the mind? Are they conditioning us to have more willpower, less willpower? Do I feel more self-worth next to this person or less self-worth next to this person? Do I feel like I have to prove something next to this person? Is this person rushing me? Am I rushing them? Maybe I have a transmitter, they have a receiver, they're burning out like this, and it's because of me, and I don't even know I'm doing it. I'm in the shadow frequency. So it's such a huge system. I've been studying it for 3 years, and I've been experimenting it with people. I've been coaching so many people one-on-one, live, like in person, to feel their aura, on Zoom calls, on stuff. And I can really say the system is so deep and with a reason. And you know the reason? It's because there is no two same people on the planet. We have been taught that there are like 20 different ways of how to be human, 20 different careers, 20 different ways of, and that's it. That's the cookie cutter system. If you are not diagnosed with one of these 20 types, you are, what the hell are you? But then you get human design, which is like, oh, this is your center, but look at this. This is the gene. You go into the gene. This is your expression on this day today. This is who you are next to this person. Then you have relationship readings. Then I did readings for like whole families where you have 2 generators, mom generator, father generator, and a small child who's a projector. And the small child is burned out, and they don't know why. And then we go like, yeah, but look, your kid is a projector. You cannot expect him to do the same amount of activity as you guys. You got to ask him questions. You got to invite him. You got to let him sleep like in the other apartment so he can discharge all this energy. So the nuances are ridiculous. Like, so yeah, I'll pause there just because my projector throat is feeling a little bit burned out.
Yeah. Well, we're almost through the chat, so your projector throat will be able to relax. But one question I had, and thank you, by the way, again for that thorough overview. Really, really helpful and just so interesting to be able to listen to, from an expert in this modality. Really, really fascinating, and intuitively makes a lot of sense as well in terms of how that. How human design as a modality can help inform and reveal your dharma, which is right to come into your purpose, the higher calling on our human level, to be able to how we spend this earthly journey in a way that then is fulfilling and leads us right to actually honoring that higher self's calling as what to do and how to do it here on earth. But my question to you was, do you find those who are coming to work with you, whether that's like a one-on-one setting or a group setting, perhaps as a family, is it because, are they coming to you looking for guidance in this question exactly? Like, how do I spend my time here on earth? Like, what am I meant to be doing? Are they coming with issues with addiction, or have you noticed a general trend of the type of client that comes to work with you for human design?
It's mostly people.
Go ahead. No, I was wondering, is there not a typical client, but wondering if you knew of any type of correlations there.
It's a lot of people that that are diagnosed with things that the medical Western medical professions don't like. They have like ADHD, people with autistic spectrums, people with addictions, people with a lot of energy they don't know what to do with, people with no energy, like projectors, being called lazy their entire lives. So basically people who do not fit into the system, but have so much amazing talents, but they are taught with labels that these talents are actually diseases. And then what I do is I just flip it around and I go, no, look, this is your superpower, you just got to do it like this. This is your superpower, you just need a better environment. This is your superpower, you just need to, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. And in like 2 or 3 sessions, like people are like, I don't do many sessions with like, I don't have so many like recurring clients where people come back to me like a therapist and come back and come back. No, few sessions, I give you the blueprint, you're good to go.
Right.
If people come back to me, it's because we become friends and we become like, you know, we start, like people that come back to me can almost be human design guides themselves, which is basically what we're trying to do. But yeah, I also get like people who are in relationships for the longest time and they have tried everything and then they discover human design and it's like this is the final piece they've been missing. Or parents that have children who do not fit into any school, any environment. So all these unexplained human things which are deeply human, but we've never given the language, we've never given the lingo, we've never given the framework, the mind frame to kind of remove the old stuff, which is horrendous, and then, you know, new software.
Right. Right. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautifully explained, and again, just so much intuitive sense right there. Because also, like, I think you make a really good point in the sense of, you know, I've often, it's not uncommon to hear people who go to therapists that continue to go to therapists for 30, 40 years, their whole life. And the idea of any genuine, true therapeutic approach is to provide sustainable solutions that allow you to then be able to live your life, not to have to continue to seek ongoing treatment so that you continue to have to pay your dollars for their, you know, ineffective services. Not to say that there isn't a place for therapy, right? I don't want to psychotherapy, psychiatry.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there is times and places, but it is also to say we need to start looking collectively at the root causes of these issues so that we can actually provide sustainable treatment solutions. And that's what I really love about what you're talking about here. And that's spirituality in its essence, is to look at issues at their root so that we can provide genuine, long-term, sustainable solutions. And so when you say that people, you know, they come to you for a few sessions and they don't need to come back unless it's, you know, for friendship, whatever it is, that's showing and pointing to the legitimacy and pragmatic value add of your services and the work you're doing to help guide people while they're here on this floating space rock. So, you know, just hats off to you for, you know, being able to do that and to honor that and, you know, to respect your role as a healer and servant of truth, guide people on their journeys. And because that's what it's all about. That's what AWAKENPEDIA is about. Authenticity in our approach to really help people help themselves. And that's it, right? So I just respect that about you, and I appreciate that's how you bring that type of intention and energy into your practice.
I just want to say to end just this little segment is I would rather help more people a little bit, you know, and then to kind of really stomp the knowledge into one person. That's not, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you just be able to even plant seeds in people, and that's why the best way to help people is most simply to be the teaching yourself, to live it, right? Practice what you preach, be the teaching. And when you are the teaching, that's the energy that you're emanating, and your presence itself will move mountains. That's what will inspire and catalyze the essential shift in consciousness in everyone else to then be able to see how you see. And that's how peace will arise in this world. But it starts with the person, and in many ways with human design as a way of understanding the totality of what that person is on all dimensions of existence and bringing those into harmony. So, look, we're crazy enough coming up at 50 minutes here, but I really, really love having you part of this team, and I'm really excited to see how we can serve humanity together, being able to help lead people home, and doing it in the most pure and authentic way. Just, I really sense that what this is and what we're doing is we're helping people to save themselves. And ultimately, you are your own savior, and you have to be, you just have to, when the consciousness shifts, you come to realize that. And then that's when the journey gets fun. Yeah. But what I'll ask, if you have any parting words that you'd like to share, I often end this way, putting you in the spotlight again. If there's any type of insight or wisdom, anything you'd like to impart on the community, perhaps something that you would have helped you if you knew it earlier, or just anything at all, anything from the heart that comes to you to share.
There are no big moves in life. Whatever you do is an accumulation of small steps over time, whether that's in the direction of your growth or in the direction of your decay and detriment. So you think that at a certain point, a big event happens in your life. Something, it happens suddenly. It's never like that. It's always the momentum of small habits, small things you're doing, or small things you're not doing. So on the positive side, never underestimate your progress every single day. Like, exercise at least 10 minutes today. Do something at least 10 minutes today. Do something else at least 10 minutes today. Just do it frequently more than intensely. And it's going to build. And one day you're just going to feel, wow, I can jump higher. Wow, I can run further. I can walk. I can pick up my grandkids. And it's going to feel like from yesterday it happened. No, it didn't happen from yesterday. So never belittle yourself in that sense of how much you can accomplish, because that is the only thing that you can do. There are no big things in life. There are only small steps that amount to big things. But also, on the other hand, if you neglect the little responsibilities that you're not doing today, and then you're not doing them tomorrow, and then you're not doing them tomorrow, and then one day you have a disease. One day there's too much dust under the rug. There's too much skeletons in the closet. There's too much backlog of whatever behind you. And then you're like, oh, suddenly my life is different. And no, it's the same thing. So small things become big things if you pay or don't pay attention to them.
Yeah, wonderful advice. All we have, after all, is this moment. That's it. This now, and then the next now. It's always the now. So if you can look at life, enlightenment is nothing more than being in this moment fully. That's how I see it. Full presence in this moment. And if you can do that every moment, well, you'll be enlightened and stay enlightened. Of course, that's the great challenge we all face as pilgrims on the pilgrimage. How can we continue to be in the moment and honor it instead of living for the past or future? So consistency is key, right? As you point to, little steps, just one moment at a time, and that one small moment will then realize and prove itself to be that massive moment. There is no overnight success here, even in awakening. All right. Well, that was wonderful, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. Really happy you're a part of the AWAKENPEDIA family and seeing where this goes. So this is just the beginning, and let's see where it goes from here. All right. All right. Thank you. Everyone who tuned in, thank you so much. You can find I Create Lines profile in our member forum, where you can learn more about his background, his services, book directly with him through that, as well as any special discounts and promotions for AWAKENPEDIans. So thank you. I Create Lines. We'll be in touch and talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.